What's going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to Little Bit Man Gaming, bringing you a review for BlackLighting Season 4, Episode 1. Season 4, Episode 1. First things first is you can hit that like, subscribe, and share in the notification button. I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment down below if you want to see more reviews. Like I said, I think in the past video that I was going to be doing not only reviews for like what I'm doing now for like wrestling and Batwoman, but for Black Lightning, The Flash, DC's Legends Tomorrow, all that great stuff. But yeah, if you could do all those great things, leave a comment, like, subscribe, share, all that. Like I said before, greatly appreciate it because we're trying to get to a goal to 100 subscribers. So let's dive into it. Here go. Like, I always like to do this before, give you like just a brief synopsis of what the episode was about, which is Jefferson Pierce still mourning the death of his longtime friend, Detective Henderson. Gamby is presented with an interesting opportunity. Lynn and Jefferson continue to clash. So, this is not going to be a grand scale, I say video. I'm not going to make it a long video, but yeah. So that they touched right there and there. There's a couple points to touch on. After the events of the end of season 3, Detective Henderson dying and Jeff, we are back to like a familiar territory. Now, Jeff is dealing with the loss of his friend, because Henderson was like his brother. So it was like he's dealing with the loss of his friend, and it's kind of like it's kind of clashing. It's clashing because he feels like Black Lightning took away his friend because he felt like it was his fault for allowing Henderson to get involved in Black Lightning's world. That's the reason why he's dead. And I'm trying to find some. Okay, it was another thing I want to talk about, but I can't remember what it was. Particularly after I get done talking about this, they all one is one of the things I actually liked about this show. It's in my notes somewhere. Okay, there you go. So yeah, so he's like not taking it well. Everybody don't take death well. Especially when you lose somebody close. And Jefferson is not taking it well. And then he's clashing with Lynn about their marriage because after everything that happened last season, her drug problems and everything she did with the lab. Jeff was thinking that she was done with it, but then he said once everything was over, she just went right back to the lab. They're not on the same page. They go into couples therapy. It's a mess with their marriage. And then the other things they're clashing on too is that they're clashing on how to deal with Tobias Wells. Tobias Wells just reemerged. We found out that the events of last season of the season 3 was a year ago. This episode 1 of season 4, takes place a year after the events that happened in the season 3, and now we find out that Tobias Wells, at the end of that episode, he's been missing for a year, so they thought he was dead, and then he just pops back up on the TV screen, using his dirty money and everything to seem like he was, it seemed like he was this good Samaritan that's trying to help rebuild Freeland. They kicked off the episode too with like, I want to say like, they always tackle the black racial things that happen in this country, in real time, and given what happened over this past summer, and not just with the pandemic, but with people, with the police brutality and people dying and whatnot. black people dying in the Black Lives Matter movement. They had a little. The director, I want to say, and or producer, I think he is. They put in a little homage to Trayvon Martin and Elijah McClain, and they had Jeff. He after coming from the cemetery of Henderson, visiting Henderson. Having a vision of his father standing with him at Henderson's grave, talking to him, telling him what he needs to do. But even a vision, a ghostly vision of his father, it's not enough to deter Jeff from wanting to be Black Lightning. And then he's on his way to this couple's therapy from visiting the grave, and he sees two police officers who randomly just get out of their car and attack this black boy who was holding a violin, and he has a hood. Obviously, the hood, a hoodie with his hood on, is Trayvon Martin, but the violin is Elijah McClain. He made this character combine to make a statement, and I think he said in the interview that the statement was that if we had heroes like Jefferson and Black Lightning, maybe Trayvon Martin and Elijah McClain would be alive today if somebody was able to step in like he did, because his character was saved instead of killed by the police, because they was pretty much on the verge of killing him if it wasn't for Jeff. Jeff is asking him, "Hey, what's going on? This is a kid that go to my school. I know this kid. He wanted her to fly, and he's a good kid." And they they don't care what he said. They just tell him to get back in his car. They're not listening. And when he refused to get in his car because he didn't want them to hurt this kid, they throw the kid to the ground violently. They pulled up on the kid without just cause. And so, I understand what he's trying to say. What he's trying to interpret with that scene was that this boy was minding his own business, was doing nothing. And, he got his hood on, got a violin. They attacking him. They just see him walking, beat the police sirens, and attack him, throw him on the car, talking about where the drugs are. They roughing him up, going in his pockets, talking about where the drugs are. He's trying to tell them he don't got no drugs, and they don't care what he said. They still think he got drugs on him. No, and that's racial profiling. They had all types. And I love that about Black Lightning. They like to tackle not only what's going on in the world, but what's going on in the world with black people. So it's like that was a cool thing to see. And then, like I said, then you got getting back to what I was saying. Jeff intervenes, and he's telling them this. He's telling them that this is a good kid. And they, once they tell him to get in the car and he don't comply, I think they tell him to get in his car like 2 or 3 times, and then they finally get mad and throw the kid to the ground. They draw their guns on him. And he's telling them, like, you're going to draw your guns on me? Like, I'm unarmed. They telling him this is your final warning. Either get, they basically try to tell him, either get in the car or we're going to shoot you because you're not complying with us. So, he's like every all black people when it comes to the Black Lives Matter movement. He's, with the police brutality and everything, he said he echoes what we feel about it, and he said what people feel about it, and he says, I'm getting sick and tired of this, and he just zaps them up in the air, and he electrocutes them, he zaps them good, and then he and then he lets him, he drops him. He doesn't kill him. He gives enough volt electricity to knock him unconscious, and then he he uses his powers, which I didn't know he even had the power to wipe memories. He touched the temple of their forehead with his 2 fingers, and he wipes their memory. He made sure to fry they body cams and the cams in the car. But you find out later, Gamby tells him that he missed the camera. There were street cams, and though they didn't get much, they got a partial plate. So they tell then when they do with the new chief comes to, with the new chief Hernandez and her partner, I think recently transferred. You could call him partner. I guess he was transferred from the FBI or whatever to investigate. You find out later on this guy was also a friend, like friends and someone that he was mentored by Henderson, and he was told in a letter to trust BlackLighting, but he's there to figure out why BlackLighting is gone. And but yeah, then they come to him, they tell him that only 6 people in Freeland got the last 2, I think it was like the last 2 or 3 parts of a plate, and he was one of them. But he's telling them that he told them the truth, that he was in the area because he went to Henderson's grave, and that he told him that he went to to his couple therapy, but we know he stopped to help that kid before he went to the couples therapy. But throughout the episode, Jefferson is like, BlackLighting is dead. Everybody keep telling him that we've been here before. We've been in this place before. And he's like, he even acknowledged that at one point, he's like, everybody keeps saying that, but it's never been like this. It's never been this bad where I lost a friend like this, So he's trying to tell them it's never been this bad. It's never been like this. But at the same time, it does feel repetitive because we 4 seasons in. Even though I know this is the final season, but we're 4 seasons in, and it's kind of repetitive. It's kind of not all the way, but it's kind of repetitive at this point that we still could deal with this. Oh, I'm BlackLighting, but now I don't want to be BlackLighting no more. All I care about is my family. We went through this before, and you would think, given what happened with the crossover with Crisis on Infinite Earths and all that type of stuff, he would be past this whole not wanting to be BlackLighting, because as he saw, the world needs superheroes when a threat of cosmic proportions could wipe out entire Earths in the multiverse, right? So that's where I'm coming from with the kind of repetitiveness. Like, it made for good storytelling, but at the same time, it's like, the whole thing about it's like a plot hole. Why would he care? I mean, I understand I understand the part where he's upset, because he lost a best friend that was like a brother to him. That part of the story, I understand why he wouldn't want to be BlackLighting. But the way how the story was told in this episode, he like, and you don't see him suit up at all. Like, that was the one thing, he doesn't suit up at all as BlackLighting in this episode. And it's like, you don't, and then it said, okay, we get it. You like on strike. You don't want to be BlackLighting because you feel guilty and responsible for your friend's death. I get that. But given what happened in the crossover, given the fact that there's things bigger, you got the fact that you're not the only, that you just found out that your Earth was an Earth on itself. Like, your Earth didn't even have a Superman, a Green Arrow, a Flash, or nothing like that. And we found out in the crossover to BlackLighting, Superman was a myth. It wasn't even shown that he even exists on Jefferson Pierce on Jeff's Earth. It was just the only thing that when they came to Superman, they said he was a myth. But then now, your Earth, you found out that the reason why you're back, because you was one of the people who died, and you died along with your daughters and stuff. You found out that your Earth, along with another Earth, fused with the Flash's Earth. So now your Earth is a part of 3. The Earth that you're on is made up of 3 Earths: Supergirl's Earth, BlackLighting's Earth, and now the Flash's Earth, the Flash and Green Arrow's Earth. And that was part of Oliver's sacrifice, was that he knew that the world, to have a better world, not just the same world, but a better world is having all these heroes on one Earth instead of 2 Earths or 3 Earths. Because he was saying, Oliver's mind, when they helped we build the multiverse, was that to make our Earth better and their Earth better, we need not to have this barrier of we have to travel through a portal to get to this other Earth, to make a breach to get to this other Earth. Oliver wanted these heroes to be on the same Earth so that instead of having to go get them through a breach, they could just show up right then and there without having to. And that's what happened. You have 3 Earths become 1 Earth. That's why the Earth that Jeff lives on and Supergirl's Earth is now fused with Flash's Earth to make Earth Prime. With all that happening, you would think that outweighed his guilt on wanting to be Black Lightning in some way. And we didn't see that in this episode. This episode, was self-contained and Black Lightning's war like it needed to be, but we didn't see, that if that was this, to get to my point, that's the negative for me for this episode. The negative is that it was a repetitiveness of the same story that we saw in the first season, and kind of the second season, because it was the first season and second season that dealt with not only him wanting to be Black Lightning, but him not wanting his daughters to be superheroes either. And we get in this first episode for like more of a rehash of seasons 1 and 2 with him now. Like that's one of the things he's arguing with his wife about. They clashed about whether or not they killed Tobias Wells. They should kill Tobias Wells, or just deal with him like superheroes do and put him in jail. That was okay, but clashing about Anissa and Jan being lightning and thunder, that's just like a repetitive rehash of the first two seasons, and it felt like we was repeating more of the same. Given what just happened, that should be the last thing. And knowing that he got his memories back, Martian Manhunter gave Jeff his memories back, so he knows he knows what's how his Earth used to be, and now this new Earth. He has 2 memories now. The memories of the new Earth Prime, where he always knew the Flash and Superman. And then he got the memories before Earth Prime, where it was still just a myth, and he knew that his daughters died. He knew about Crisis, and he knew his daughters died, and all that type of stuff. So you would think with everything or all that happening, he's still having that is one of your things you put in your episodes, that they're not listening to me because I don't want them to be superheroes. It's like everything is just like the first 2, like I said, the first 2 seasons just repeated, and I just feel like that's a negative. But which leads me to my point. If I had to grade this episode, I would say the first episode gets 7 big ups, because it was a good episode to start off the season 4. To start off season 4, it kicked off with some hard hitting things, some real I couldn't say it, real world things, and the things dealing with within the show. And you saw how the dark side of being a hero, where you lose someone, you have to ask yourself this question: is it worth still being a hero when that's what's the reason why the people you love get hurt? But at the same time, why is we still going through that was the good parts is that we see Jennifer getting stronger, and this and them still doing their thing as Lightning and Thunder. We see Lynn is out there. We still see Lynn out there trying to help people too. But the negative is that we still running the same old race with Jeff now not wanting to be Black Lightning again, and not wanting his daughters out there, being superheroes. But yeah, that was the only negative for me for this episode. And if you want to see more of these reviews, which I'm going to do it regardless, but if you want to see more, you like them, you have suggestions, you have points you want me to talk about and see what I think about, Let me know in the comments below, because we gotta go 100 subscribers. So I'm gonna say it again: like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification button. To the next video. Peace.